Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm outside of my yard today. No neon lights or anything crazy, just the fresh air and the birds chirping. Alright, I'm excited to talk to you about mentors. Some of the greatest advice I've ever received and actually followed is getting mentors. So I'm going to share my journey with all the mentors I've worked with in hopes to encourage you to find mentors for yourself, because I truly believe that is the fastest way to succeed and the most non-stressful way as well. Why reinvent the wheel, right? So if you're new to this channel, my name's Adam Lucky. I run an advertising agency. I owned a gym for 9 years. I'm still running my agency right now for the last 4 years. And my goal is just to encourage entrepreneurs to prosper, and in every way possible. So let's dive in. I think I heard this advice really from Bedros Keuilian, my first mentor. Him and Steve Hockman, they ran Fit Body Bootcamp. And I remember when I first started in business, I was 24, graduated college, didn't want to work for anybody. I wanted to start my own business. And I just thought fitness is cool. I like fitness and I want to own a business. So started doing some research. And my first point is God will lead you to the right people. And I truly believe that. God will lead you to the right mentors. If you humble yourself and you're ready, and God will open the doors. And that's how I've always viewed in my last 10 years. Like, okay, I've worked with this person. I'll be able to tell when the grace is ending, the grace is lifting with that relationship, and it's time to move on. But I'm so thankful for each and every one. So the first one, when I started my gym, was Bedros and Steve Hockman. I remember going to their office in Chino Hills and getting started with Fit Body Bootcamp. It wasn't even a franchise at that point. It was just a license. But I knew that they've done it. They've started a successful bootcamp style business, which is a good model. From doing my research, I signed on with them and owned that gym for 9 years. Okay, so I worked with them for about 9 years until I sold it in 2019 and transitioned to this whole advertising online, make money online type of deal, where I think the first person that I learned from was Dan Henry, right? Like many of you guys, I bought the 997 course, and I kind of let it sit there for about a year. Didn't really do anything with it. I just, well, I did go through it, right? I went through it, but I didn't take action on it for a year. Just a lot of fear, a lot of hesitancy with this business model. Didn't know if I can do it. A lot of limiting beliefs. Finally, I came to my next actually mentor that I worked closely with, which his name was Mike Barron. If you don't know him, cool dude. So I don't recall exactly how I found Mike, but it was back in 2018, 2019. I was still running my gym, and I started watching some of his content and whatnot. Had a phone call with them. It was like a very expensive at that time. I think it was anywhere from like 6 to 10K for the program. But he was basically teaching you how to start your agency, right? How to make money by charging people money to run ads for them, to help them with their marketing, which is something I've always enjoyed. I actually had a degree in marketing, one of those rare cases where my degree actually paid off. But the cool part of the story is really how I decided that I was going to work with him. I was in my office at the gym and I got one of those cold calls, right? And it was this guy. He was hitting me up and he started pitching me. I'm like, all right, I'll listen to it. I'll see what he's got. And I liked his approach. So I just asked him some questions. I asked like, hey, how long have you been doing this? Because he was trying to pitch me on running my ads. And I'm like, I already run my own ads. I do all my own marketing. But I found out that he works with Mike Barron. So to me, that was a sign. It was a sign, it was a confirmation, and I felt in my gut, right? And this is something I talk about a lot, is intuition. Like, that's how God leads us, is through, at least for me, is through peace. What do I feel peace on when I'm looking to make a decision? What do I feel is just right in my gut, right? And that's how I make my decisions for the most part. There's some logic involved, of course, but ultimately I rely on the Spirit to make decisions. And something in that conversation, I just knew, okay, this is the right guy. Like, this guy cold called me after I've just been looking at this Mike Barron dude and finding out this guy works for Mike Barron. So I'm glad I did, because he helped me launch my agency. He gave me the frameworks. He gave me the confidence that I can actually do this, right? Because when you step out into something new, it's very scary. I remember feeling that when I started my gym. I didn't view myself as a coach. I didn't view myself as someone that can be a charismatic boot camp instructor, which you need energy, right? If you're gonna to lead these big workout sessions with 20 or plus people. I just didn't view myself that way, but I did it anyway because I found the people, mentors that could impart that confidence to me. And that's one of the main aspects of working with mentors, at least that I've found. They can impart courage. They can impart their belief systems into you, all right? So you can borrow from their strength and their success. And I felt the same way when I went to start helping other gym owners. I had all these limiting beliefs, like, oh, I'm not $1 million gym owner. Like, who are they going to listen to me? Although I was doing well, 20K plus months on average for the last few years. But I just had those beliefs that, like, who am I? All of that fraud syndrome, whatever, you feel like a fraud, right? So I had to overcome a lot of that. But I'm so glad I worked with Mike because he helped me get to about 10K a month. Within like 90 days, I was freaking ecstatic. Like, that amount of money was life-changing to me and to my family. Like, I could actually save money. I can actually have a little bit more than enough now. And I remember signing my first client. It was a gym owner in Minnesota, charging him $1,000 a month. I was like, no way did they just agree to this. It was like easy, so simple. They said yes, and I was pumped. Right, so I worked with Mike for about a year, and like I said, I felt the grace was lifting after that. He helped me get to where he's going to help me get, but it was time for me to move on and go to the next season. And there was probably like a two-month gap where I wasn't working with anybody, but I knew I wanted to get to the next level by running paid ads, because at that time I was just cold DMing people, other gym owners in my network, in the Fit Body Bootcamp network, trying to find out, or just that was just my way of prospecting. That was my way of scaling, but it took a lot of time, took a lot of effort, and I wanted to learn how to do Facebook ads to scale my own agency by running ads for myself, because I wanted to practice what I preach, right? So I heard about this dude, Joel Kaplan, and quite the popular YouTuber in the agency space, so I'm sure you've heard about him. But once again, started getting into his content. But side note, right? Like, if you're a coach or any type of agency owner, like, having content is just brilliant because it allows people to get to know you and trust you before they ever do business with you, right? So I started diving into his stuff, and I thought he was pretty legit, so I hopped on a call. Once again, I just felt the peace on it. Knew in my soul, I knew in my gut, like, this is the person that I need to dive in. His testimonials checked out and all that. This was in mid 2019. I think he was just getting started with his agency coaching business. It was not an easy decision to make. That was another 10K plus investment. It was very scary, and that's another key point I wanted to make today. Is like, one of the reasons most people don't ever get to the next levels because they let fear hold them back. I don't know how I'm going to do this, and it's just too much money, and I don't know if I'm going to get the return, and all of this doubt and all of this insecurity, which we all have. The difference is just people that are going to push past that and find a way to make it work, or find excuses. And thankfully, I found a way. Simple solution is always go find 0% interest credit cards, put it on the damn credit card, and pay it off. Like, why are we so afraid to invest in our business? That's how I started my gym, on credit cards. Maxed out those credit cards because I had faith that this is going to work out. I'm going to make it work. All right, so that would be my encouragement to you. Don't let fear hold you back, because I promise you, if God has led you to that person, then it's for a reason. And we need people. Like, we're not called to be entrepreneurs on an island to just do everything ourselves. Like, that's not God's way, at least. All right, self-made is an illusion. All right, we all need people. We all need help to get to the next level. So once again, super glad I signed up with good old Joel Kaplan and his team, because they helped me scale to about 10K to 30K a month, and I found success with running paid ads, and that was a huge next level for me. They helped me scale, helped me bring on like an account manager, helped me learn how to grow a team. So I'm super thankful for the time I had with Joel. At that point in time, I think it was like 2020, things were going great. I was saving money. We were scaling our business. We were charging $1,500, $1,700 a month to help these gym owners with their marketing. They were crushing it. And then COVID hit, right? Good old COVID hit, which wiped out a ton of people. Thankfully, we're resilient. We stayed in the game. We lost about 50% of our clientele, which was hard, but we didn't shut down. And I'm proud of that. We were able to sustain. And yeah, we took a hit and it hurt and it sucked. But once again, God is faithful, man. He is faithful to lead us to the right people, to the solutions. And I just believe there's always a solution. There's always a solution for our business. And giving up is the only way to actually fail, right? So, the next mentor, I got this DM one day, and it was from someone I look up to, good old Alex Hormozy. He's like, hey, I might have something for you. When can you meet up for a call? Which was funny because, a little backstory, probably a few months earlier from Layla, I got like a cease and desist from Layla, like, hey, you got to stop prospecting our gym lords. Because what happened was I started growing my agency by pitching these gym launch guys, because my brother was in gym launch. I was never personally in gym launch, but my brother had a gym. He signed up for gym launch, and I was in their group, and I was able to scrape that whole group, and I was pitching them via DM. It was great because there was no conflict of interest. At least for me, it didn't feel like I was violating any boundaries, because gym launch at the time was just a coaching company. They didn't run ads, right? And that's all I did, was run ads for these gym owners. And it was perfect because I knew their model and I knew everything they did. So I charged them anywhere from $1,000, $1,500 a month. They were happy. I ran their ads because that was fulfilling a need that they had. Gym launch was great. It was just coaching. They didn't actually have a done for you service. So that's how I grew, and that's how I acquired a lot of clients. But one day, Layla, and she was very kind, very sweet about it. I was like, no problem. So I stopped, pitching them via DM. Fast forward a few months later, it was like right before COVID hit, actually. Alex approached me via DM. So I was like, okay, how's this call going to go? I didn't know what was it about, but I hopped on with him. And this was when he was running Allen. He was just starting Allen, and he was pitched me on Allen. Very straightforward. Once again, came to that crossroad of, I got to make a decision now. Is this the right move? Is God on this? That's usually my framework of making decisions, and that's why I have compassion for people as well on sales calls. I don't force people to make a decision. I don't try to hard close people, because I myself don't make decisions on the fly, right? I take time to pray about it. I take time to think about all the angles when my emotions aren't high. So I thought about it. Talked to some other mentors, talked to some other friends about it, really weighed the decision. Sure enough, I came to that conclusion. Yeah, this is the right move. I think this is really going to take me to the next level. And of course, had all the fears. Same thing with every decision. Had all those fears, had all those doubts. But I'm so glad I did, because it saved my business, man. It gave me the ability to create a new offer, which, if you don't know anything about Allen, that was his software company that used AI to nurture leads. So now, instead of pitching gym owners like, hey, pay me $1,500 a month and I'll run your ads, which is quite risky, right? They have no guaranteed results. Now I can switch my model to, hey, only pay for performance, right? Pay for the people that we bring to your doorstep, that we get to show up to your gym. Only pay us for those leads, right? And it absolutely changed the game, because at that point in time, my leads were slowing down because my ads were getting stale, because the offer was becoming saturated. A bunch of other people were doing that, and it was no longer appealing. But as soon as I started running this, hey, pay per show model, it was game changer. It saved my business. I was able to be successful with it, and I had the fortunate time of working with Alex one-on-one. He had weekly calls with us, and just learned a ton. It was a hard decision to make. That was another $10K investment, plus they took a cut of every show that showed up from their software doing their thing, and they took a cut of the sign-up fee. So it was not an easy decision to make. Ultimately, it came down to, do I feel God on this? And I did. And to me, that means I felt peace when I prayed. I felt peace. I felt excitement. I wanted to do it. And even though the fears were present, I decided to push past that and make that decision. So ultimately, I just want to encourage you guys, man. If you're looking to get somewhere, you know where you want to go, and you see someone that has what you want, coach with them. Hire them as a mentor. Use them, help you get to the next level. because that is a tool that I believe God uses in all of our lives. So hopefully sharing my journey has encouraged you to take actions of faith, to be bold and courageous in the face of fear, and to invest in your business, invest in your future. Hire someone that has a track record, that has testimonials, that you believe can take you to the next level, and I promise you won't regret it. All right, and as always, if you like the content, like and subscribe. It would help me out. My goal is to grow this YouTube channel. I love sharing what challenges I've had, what successes I've had, and just to invite you along the journey. Right, I'm on this path to learning how to grow a business and what's working now and what's not working. So would love to have you on the journey. Subscribe and then comment below. Love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video.